The need of the hour is to be disruptive in addressing DNI related matters, specifically broached through topics that bring in a little bit of a psychological and social discomfort. But it is very essential to address that and bring diversity and inclusion into mainstream management to make organizations successful.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Voice the Sasha Poshcast, your go to podcast for all things posh. This is your host, Shweta Bhatt, and in this episode, I speak to executive leader and the founder of Thought Edge, Meera Krishnan. Meera and I talk about the very important topic of diversity and inclusion in workplaces and how they relate to prevention of sexual harassment. We touch upon different aspects of the theme, like what diversity and inclusion is really all about, how it benefits organizations, actions employers can take to make their spaces safer and more inclusive, and the future of work with respect to diversity, equity, inclusion, and POSH. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Here's Meera talking about her company Thought Edge and the Dia platform.
At ThoughtEdge, our mission is to create global sustainable organizations. At ThoughtEdge, our people come first and their commitment to build relevant and reliable solutions will make all the difference for our customers. ThoughtEdge values and beliefs are centered around innovation and transforming business, leveraging new age technology for bringing those path breaking changes in the way we do business. The ThoughtEdge founders strongly believe that today the need to work as a global team with a high degree of collaboration and appreciation of a diverse workforce is the need of the hour. Global workforce, as you know, is in the midst of exponential transformation with trends like shrinking workforce, workforce diversity, women in leadership role, etc. And all this has created the need for a comprehensively documented business strategy around diversity and inclusion. And we at ThoughtEdge have applied the three H, the heart, the hand, and the head to launch our flagship platform called Dia. Dia is diversity, equity, and inclusion in action. The Dia platform is built based on sound principles of behavioral sciences and knowledge gleaned from years of research and study of successful entities across the globe. It merges technological advances in the field of analytics with the latest finding from the world of social science and emotional quotient. It is a platform powered by intelligent analytics and artificial intelligence in its roadmap. Dia provides 21st century businesses to focus on bringing about transformational change in its culture.
Thank you so much, Meera, for agreeing to come on the podcast and for the conversation that we are about to have, which I'm very much looking forward to learning from you.
Okay.
So, the first question is relating to the concept of inclusion and diversity and safe workspaces. So, when we talk about these words, what do these words mean to you?
Thanks, Shweta. And at the onset, I'd like to thank Ms. Kanti Joshi and the entire team at Sasha for inviting me over to this platform. It is indeed a great honor to be a part of this platform. Thanks once again. To your question, well, diversity and inclusion, I think, is now a very trending topic, and it's talked about almost everywhere in every forum. Diversity and inclusion, if we go by the sheer definition, diversity is about numbers, and inclusion is about making those numbers count. Um, some people believe diversity is, about all the individual differences in race, ethnicity, gender, sexual preferences that one brings on the table in a workplace. And inclusion is how you weave all of these differences into a fabric that enables seamless working. So, diversity and inclusion to me is our essentially two different aspects of what an organization needs to do in order to grow, innovate, and be successful.
What can you tell us about what you have learned by looking at organizations across the world and how they implement DNI in their spaces?
Sure. So I think whether it is about India or any other geographical part of the world, I think the prime focus should be, rather than viewing individuals as categories, the focus today needs to be on how to create an environment where everybody feels valued, respected, and belonged. Right. It is most importantly, how do we create a culture of inclusion where every organization can realize the fullest potential of an individual. Now, coming to the second part of your question, across the globe, obviously, there is a lot of awareness about diversity and inclusion. And I think we need to continuously expand our own range of understanding and actions. Uh, I think as a first step, by understanding our cognitive process and reflexes. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. The first level understanding that each one of us needs to reflect on is our own unconscious biases. And when we look at the globe altogether, I think it's very important to understand global cultures, understand, their perspectives, understand, what drives motivation and innovation for each one of them, and really see how you can build an ecosystem that sort of caters to everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean both the dominant and the non-dominant group. I think the awareness about diversity and inclusion in India currently is probably a little restricted and limited to balancing the gender diversity, or some other aspects of diversity. But I think diversity as a whole caters to 7 to 8 different categories, which we need to be able to bring on board and sort of weave together a culture that ensures that every individual is kind of valued, respected, and feels belonged. So I think across the globe, DNI is also evolving. In some parts of the world, it has matured to a slightly different level, where CEOs have actually made diversity a priority and have set up aspirational goals. And then in many places, for example, in Norway, there is a gender quota for women to be in corporate boards. In the US, there is a mandate that there has to be about 2 women in corporate boards, and it has been seen that any decision that they take is likely to be less dangerous for a business from a strategic perspective.
A lot of times organizations might want to, on a larger level or on a vaguer level, implement DNI. But when it comes to the nitty gritties or actually doing it, there might be challenges, or there simply might be a lack of awareness about how is it going to benefit the organization ultimately. And what do you see as tangible benefits of implementing, having a more diverse and inclusive workspace for organizations and for businesses, for employers, for all stakeholders, really?
Sure, absolutely. So diversity and inclusion, I think we need to understand that it is definitely, diversity and inclusion is a process by which you obviously need to make sure that the entire organization sort of rallies towards a common collective goal, that of business success. And studies have proved that the more diverse the workforce is, there is more diversity of ideas. There's a lot more of innovation. There's a lot more of uh, progressive or diverse sort of thought processes that enable business success. Uh, if I were to list the top benefits of driving a diversity initiative in an organization, obviously it drives business success, innovation, It's a global hygiene. It helps create high performance organizations. It improves employee engagements, improves profit, enhances the reputation. I mean, the list is long. However, very important to understand before we start expecting a return on investment on DNI. For every organization, we need to ensure that DNI is not only a front stage activity. What you believe and say and carry front stage also has to be practiced backstage. And that is when you can really realize the fullest potential of diversity and inclusion in the organization.
How does a vision of an organization, the vision of being inclusive, being diverse, transcend down to the everyday, actions, behaviors, rituals, and the to do of an organization?
Sure. No, absolutely. That's a great question. So, like I mentioned, DNI should be the CXO level charter for every organization. It is not an option or a good to have item in one's checklist. It is a must have. Having said that, there needs to be overarching goals around diversity and inclusion that needs to percolate top down from the CXO to all levels of management, all the way up to an intern who's a part of the organization. An organization must have zero tolerance to anything that disrupts this delicate fabric that you weave together in the name of inclusion. And when I say zero tolerance, means right from being able to pick cues, identify instances that could potentially disrupt this balance, and addressing it on time is going to hold the key to an organization's success in its DNI goal. When I say that, I imply, or what I intend to say is, every organization needs to carve out tangible action items and deliverables from everybody at a leadership level that percolates down to every team. And everybody should be accountable and everybody should be held accountable to conform to those tangible, actionable objectives.
That is great. Segueing from what is to be done to what are some of the, inevitably there'll be challenges. So the next question is about the challenges. So what are some challenges that you have seen come in the way of doing this for organizations, and what are some best practices or lessons that help in that you see help in overcoming these challenges?
So typically when we go to implement a DNI charter in any organization, there are different categories of people in their understanding of diversity and inclusion that we may encounter. One would be a bunch of people who do not understand diversity and inclusion, may or may not have the intent to even implement it, but it's important to get them aware of what diversity and inclusion is about and what are the inherent benefits of creating a diverse and inclusive organization. We have another set of people who understand the inherent benefits of diversity and inclusion, however, prefer to stay silent when it comes to doing something that promotes the DNI charter. These are people, again, they need to be trained and coached to be able to implement DNI, more in spirit. And then we have another bunch of people who are aspirants who understand DNI, understand the inherent benefits of DNI, but do not know where to start. And these are the people who you need to leverage and make them the organizational champions to implement a DNI charter in any organization. These are people who are enthusiastic. They want to do something different. With a little, direction, coaching, mentoring, and a robust ecosystem around implementing diversity and inclusion, they can take the organization leaps and bounds when it comes to the diversity maturity of an organization.
Coming to the way forward, How do you see the future with respect to DNI initiatives in organizations?
Diversity is an ongoing dynamic phenomena, and global workforce today is in the midst of what we call exponential transformation, with shrinking workforce diversity, age-related diversity, women in leadership role, immigrant workers, uh, you know, is paving the path for setting up an organization that has a comprehensively documented DNI strategy.
Okay, so we have almost come to our end of our conversation. Is there something that you would like to tell us in closing or in summary?
So, Thought Edge values and beliefs are centered around innovation to transform business. Like I said, we are at the initial stages of Society 5.0, and with so much of technology all around us, we want to make sure that we develop platforms, processes, practices, and solutions that essentially enable or expand human creativity and centricity by working towards creating highly diverse and inclusive organizations. And our Dia platform is essentially all about that. And work towards creating sustainable organizations. So that has been really the thought behind Thought Edge.
Thank you so much, Meera, for for having this conversation with us. I'm sure, just like me, our viewers also have found this very insightful, and there are a lot of key takeaways that at least I will be taking from this conversation, and a lot of points to ponder more on. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was our episode, dear viewers. How did you like it? What insights are you left with? Write to us at voice@sashaindia.com. We would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media for more information. Until we meet again next month with a brand new episode, take care and remember, together we can prevent, protect, and progress.